Hello, I'm Graham and I hope everyone's having a great day. Welcome to part 6 in this video tutorial series that I'm running for users of the Panasonic Lumix FZ80 or 82 bridge camera. Now, first of all, thank you very much for all those that have commented on the previous 6 videos, and I really do take encouragement from that, and that's why I'm continuing to produce this series for you. Now, in today's video, I want to look at some of the features you might want to explore when you're shooting video with the camera. Now, the first one is what's called pull focus, and it means we can have a subject in the foreground and a subject in the background, and we can have the camera automatically focus between one and the other object. So you may have something that you want to have in the foreground to take emphasis and then fade away into the background, or you might have a two-person dialogue and you want to switch the focus between the two people as they're doing the dialogue. Now, having said that, the FZ80 or 82 isn't a particularly good camera for demonstrating this technique because of the restricted aperture range that the camera has. Normally you want to use this with a wide open aperture, say f2.8, but unfortunately we only get that wide aperture at the widest angle setting of 22mm, and at that setting virtually everything is in focus from foreground to infinity. So it does mean you've got to use something like a 400 or 500mm lens to enable you to get this. So it does mean some creativity in setting your subject up relative to the background, but I'm hopefully going to demonstrate that in this video. Now, I also want to look at using macro lenses to give you some super close-ups, either in stills or in video mode. So I've got just achromat lenses and I've got the Raynox close-up lenses to demonstrate with this particular camera, and we can see the amount of depth of field you get, which aperture to use, what sort of shutter speed you'll be needing to use to get the best results if you're using close-up macro lenses. When I go back into the studio, I want to look at using additional lighting. If you're going to be shooting indoors, you might want to have additional lighting to bring enough light into the camera to give you good images. The low light performance of this camera isn't particularly good, neither is the image quality from most 1/2/3" sensor cameras when we go into a low light situation. They are really sunshine cameras or overcast cameras and you get some superb results, but take them indoors and get low light, you need to be looking at using additional light if you want decent image quality. So let's start by looking at that pull focus procedure. I'll set up the camera so I can demonstrate the near and far pull of the camera. Well, I'm hopefully now going to demonstrate the pull focus method. I have a subject set up at the left hand side of the screen, which is a Canon 720HS PowerShot camera, and in the background there's a clump of trees, and I want to shift the focus between the camera and those trees. Now, I would normally use a small conductive stylus to do this, but somewhere along the line today I've lost that stylus, probably climbing over one of the stiles getting into this location, but you'll have to excuse my finger as I use that to touch on the screen. So at the moment you can see the focus square is on the Canon logo on the camera, and now I'm just going to touch on the screen where those trees are, and you notice we get a target that is then underneath my fingertip and it takes the focus to that point. If I want to shift the focus back to the camera, then I'm going to touch again an area of high contrast on the subject, and it will bring that focus to that point. So let's do the recording of that. I'll turn on the recording mode and we'll shift the focus from the foreground to the background and then back to the foreground. And you see the camera just hunts a little bit as it's contrast-based autofocus to get the focus. Again, I'll switch to the background and back to the foreground. So that's how we'd use the LCD screen to use it for pull focus. Now, the best way to set that up is to use the single area autofocus method. So if you use the AF mode and select one area, then you can select the size of the area by using the down arrow key. You can actually change the size by using the back control dial, and you can change its initial starting position using the four-way navigation keys, or again just use the touch screen to position it where you want. Again, use a small target so you can be precise of where you want that focus point to be. So if you're going from the camera, you get that small focus point, and if you go to the trees, you'll get that small focus point. So now let's have a look at you shooting some macro with this camera. And again, I'm going to be using close-up supplementary lenses to enable me to get the camera to focus nearer, which obviously gives a larger image on the sensor. I've got the camera set up now with the Raynox DCR 150 lens. It's clipped onto the front of the FZ80 lens. My working distance is about 6 inches away, or 150 millimeters, and you see we've got this 6mm blueberry, which is about a third of the screen height, so we've got quite a good magnification. If I take that picture, you'll be able to view this in the video. You notice I'm using program auto mode. I do recommend that mode for this particular camera. There's not much range in aperture when you start to get above 300 or 400 millimeters effective focal length, so better using P mode and let the camera decide a suitable aperture and shutter speed for the lighting conditions. At the moment you can see that my zoom is approximately 200 millimeters. If I go a little bit further, the camera probably won't be able to focus. I'm not getting the green lock. Just pull back out a little bit. I'm getting the green lock at that point. Again, if you were shooting video, if you wanted to make this into a video, then if I select my 4K operation, then of course you do get an increase in magnification due to the crop factor. I'll just try and get the camera back a little bit. So that's the 4K video recording. I'll just change the focus over onto that blueberry and hopefully that will be in great focus. So again, this heather shot with the DCR 150, the FZ80. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks again for watching. If you are a new user, please do click the subscribe button and the bell notification icon and you'll be notified when I upload any more videos in this series. Also check out my photographic blog, and I'll put a link to that in the video description below. In that blog you'll find lots more information on bridge cameras, and in the case of the FZ82 there's my review of it. There's also a downloadable ebook that goes along with this series, and you'll find that again in the download section of that photographic blog. And also please do consider joining my newsletter, which is a newsletter that goes out every 2 weeks, and it's more of a technical publication than a newsletter. Lots more articles on bridge cameras and in photography in general. So there we are, part 6 is complete. In part 7 we're going to be looking at the accessories you might want to purchase for this camera to make it even more enjoyable. So things like a HUD magnifier so you can actually see the image on the LCD screen while you've got it up to your eye. We're looking at flash units and the filters that you might want to purchase to improve your creativity with the camera. So until the next video, as usual, thanks very much for watching. Please do take care, and I hope to see you all in my next one. Goodbye for now.